Welcome to your daily stock market summary from MarketSnap. Hey everyone, I'm thrilled to have you here as we dive into the action from today's market. We've got a packed session with some big moves, key economic updates, and exciting trends to unpack. Perfect for us long-term investors, keeping an eye on the bigger picture while staying sharp on short-term opportunities. Let's get right into it. First up, let's talk about how the major indexes performed today. The Dow Jones powered ahead with a solid 0.6% gain, showing strength in the broader market. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq weren't far behind, each nudging up by about 0.26% and 0.25% respectively, reflecting a bit of tech resilience after a bumpy start to the week. And check this out, the Russell 2000, representing small caps, outperformed with a nice 0.86% jump. This tells us there's some rotation happening, with investors spreading their bets beyond just the big tech names. For us long-term players, this kind of breadth is a healthy sign for sustained growth. Now let's zoom in on the winners of the day. The semiconductor space was on fire, led by Taiwan Semiconductor with a strong 4.4% gain after smashing earnings expectations with a 35% profit jump, fueled by AI chip demand. Other chip heavyweights like ASML and Applied Materials also rode the wave, climbing over 5% each. Outside tech, financials showed muscle too. Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs both surged around 5% or more after posting solid quarterly results. This kind of strength in diverse sectors is something to watch, as it could signal broader economic confidence for the months ahead. On the flip side, not everyone had a great day. Some notable large caps took a hit. Eli Lilly slipped nearly 4%, likely on sector-specific pressures in healthcare. Boston Scientific also dropped around 4%, and in the crypto space, Coinbase fell over 6% as digital asset enthusiasm cooled off a bit. These dips remind us to stay diversified and not get too caught up in any single story, especially in volatile areas like crypto. Long-term, these could be buying opportunities if fundamentals hold up. Looking at the market movers, NVIDIA continues to dominate trading activity with a modest 2% uptick, showing that AI remains a hot theme. Amazon also saw decent volume with a slight gain, while Tesla had a quieter day, edging down just a tad. Taiwan Semiconductor, as we mentioned, was a standout in both gains and activity, reinforcing its pivotal role in the tech ecosystem. For us long-term investors, keeping tabs on these movers helps us gauge where the market's momentum is building. Shifting gears to some major economic news, there's a lot of buzz around the U.S. and Taiwan striking a massive $250 billion deal on semiconductor tariffs, capping them at 15%. This agreement also includes a huge commitment from Taiwan Semiconductor to invest in U.S. operations, including new factories in Arizona. This is a big win for domestic tech manufacturing and could stabilize supply chains over the long haul, something we should factor into our tech-heavy portfolios. Meanwhile, tariffs on high-end chips are making waves, with President Trump imposing a 25% rate on certain imports, which might shake up costs for companies like NVIDIA in the short term, but could push more production stateside over time. Let's touch on the broader economic backdrop. The Federal Reserve is under the spotlight with ongoing debates about central bank independence, especially as Fed Chair Jerome Powell faces scrutiny over unrelated renovation costs. Several Fed officials and former leaders are signaling caution, warning that any erosion of independence could reignite inflation, a key risk for us to monitor as it impacts interest rates and market valuations long-term. On a brighter note, jobless claims dropped unexpectedly to their lowest since November, hinting at a still robust labor market despite some cooling. This kind of data suggests the economy might be running hot enough for the Fed to hold off on rate cuts for now, which could keep pressure on growth stocks in the near term. Speaking of tech, there's a narrative shift happening. We're seeing a rotation out of big tech into small caps and other sectors, as highlighted by some market strategists today. The Nasdaq lagged a bit compared to the broader market, but chip stocks powered a rebound with Taiwan Semiconductor's earnings acting as a catalyst. For long-term investors, this rotation could mean opportunity. Small caps often lead in early recovery phases, so don't sleep on them, even if your core holdings are in tech giants. Let's pivot to earnings, as it's a critical time with several big names reporting. Taiwan Semiconductor, as we've covered, knocked it out of the park, boosting confidence in the AI and chip space. Financial giants like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and Citigroup also delivered, with most beating expectations on earnings despite mixed revenue results. Looking ahead this week, we've got heavyweights like Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, and PNC Financial on deck. These reports will give us crucial insight into consumer spending and lending trends, key indicators for economic health over the next few quarters. As long-term investors, we use these snapshots to validate our thesis on financials and broader market stability.
Get exclusive AI summaries of every earnings call. No more reading hours of transcripts. Access revenue segmentation, 5-year analyst estimates, SWOT analyses, and full financial statements. Plus track upcoming earnings, dividends, and market events with MarketSnap's calendar app. Create a free account at MarketSnap.com.
Checking in on trading activity, NVIDIA and Intel topped the most active list. No surprise given the semiconductor buzz. Intel, despite a slight dip today, has seen massive yearly gains, suggesting strong investor interest in its turnaround story. Other names like Grab Holdings saw heavy volume, but with a drop, hinting at some profit-taking or short-term skepticism. Volume spikes like these often precede bigger moves, so keep an eye on these names for potential entry or exit points. Over the past week, some large caps have really stood out. Intel surged over 16%, riding the AI and chip wave, while Western Digital and Roblox also posted double-digit gains. These short-term sprints can sometimes signal longer-term trends, especially in tech, so consider whether these align with your portfolio's growth objectives. On the other hand, the past week wasn't kind to everyone. Trip.com took a hefty 18% hit, and Intuit dropped nearly 13%, possibly on sector rotation or specific headwinds. These pullbacks might be noise for us long-term folks, but they're worth watching if you're looking to average down on quality names. Wrapping up with sectors, energy led the pack this week with a strong 5.8% gain, followed by basic materials at nearly 6%. Industrials also showed grit with a 3.2% rise. This strength outside tech is a reminder to diversify. Energy and materials could be hedges against inflation or tech slowdowns in your long-term strategy. On the weaker side, tech lagged with a slight 0.3% dip over the week, reflecting that rotation we discussed. Financials were flat, which isn't terrible given the mixed earnings reactions. These underperformers might offer value if you believe in mean reversion over the long haul.
MarketSnap brings everything long-term investors use daily into one clean, fast platform. Explore stock financials, SWOT analysis, valuation ratios, 5-year analyst estimates, and our intrinsic value calculator, built with real fundamentals, not hype. All in a layout that's simple to read and ridiculously fast to navigate. And when you want to talk investing, join Nexus, our community where investors share valuations, posts, and stock discussions, all connected directly to the data. Use our stock's intrinsic value calculator to run and save real valuations with no spreadsheets. Share your analysis and valuations with others in the Nexus community. Get daily market summaries in video, audio, and article formats. Track the market with our earnings, dividend, and economics calendar. Our homepage gives you a real-time market overview with interactive heat maps, top market movers, and major index performance at a glance. Track daily performances, discover the most active stocks, and analyze performance across different timeframes, from weekly to yearly trends, and see which industries are leading or lagging. It's free to create an account, with optional access to premium forward-looking data. Try it now at MarketSnap.com and invest with clarity, not noise. That's a wrap for today's stock market summary from MarketSnap. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to stick with us for daily updates and deep dive SWOT analyses to keep your investment strategy sharp. Whether you're navigating short-term turbulence or building wealth for the long haul, we've got the insights to help. See you tomorrow.